Coming up on this week's edition of Sunday Nation, we're looking at the city of Highland Park and the water crisis. Will Governor Whitmer step in and finally end this crisis, or will she walk away? The Auburn challenge for Governor Whitmer. Carlton Clyburn, former president of the Highland Park City Council, is here to talk to us. And of course, the need to open the U.S. Senate race here in Michigan and to make a competitive primary race possible. Mike McCordy of the Michigan Progressive Caucus is also talking to us here about the need to open the U.S. Senate race and make it a competitive primary. And of course, then we'll visit with Chris Collins, the president of the Detroit International Jazz Festival. It's all coming up on this week's edition of Sunday Nation. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sunday Nation. Carlton Clyburn is the former president of the Highland Park City Council. Right now, Highland Park is in the news. Governor Gretchen Whitmer has said she's weighing her options regarding Highland Park's water debt, which is about $21 million. When you look at where the state and where they're spending money, I just mentioned in my column in the Detroit News this week that Faye Beydoun, an appointee of the governor and of course an ally of the governor and the president of the Arab American Chamber of Commerce, received $20 million for her organization Global Links International, and the organization was not even set up yet when it was being allocated the money. And she set up the organization 10 days after the state allocated $20 million for Faye Beydoun's organization. Highland Park, $21 million water debt, and this Lansing is still acting with trepidation. Let's bring in Carlton Clyburn, former president of the Highland Park City Council. You know, let me put it on the table. I think the state needs to wipe this debt. I think the state needs to give Highland Park a clean slate. I want you to tell our viewers, though, about just where this issue is right now, because it has bubbled to the top, and the governor is now saying she's weighing her options. Mm-hmm. We don't know what her options are.
Okay, first of all, thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
You know, this is a great opportunity for one,
right,
because like you say, this thing has been looming for way too long. You know, we've had 5 emergency managers. The problem hasn't been fixed. Okay, so right now, everything has come to the head, and no matter what, we can go into the history, talk about what happened, who at fault, this, that, and the third, but the state has the ability to fix this. And guess what? It'll help everybody. It'll help the whole state, because everybody that's talking, you know, we have infrastructure issues across the state. And with this money and with that help from the infrastructure bills and everything.
That's a good point. I mean, the water issue in Highland Park is an infrastructure issue as well.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the main issue. So, and let's be clear, it's not about the water, it's about the sewage. So it's combined. You know, they say the water bill, but we're paying a metered water cost, correct?
Right, right.
And it's metered, so we know what we're paying for that.
Right.
The issue is the sewage, and that's always been the issue going out these,
right,
you know, these past years with
right,
the stormwater runoff. Something they, you know, we got to pay for rain, so that's a big issue. The leaks because of the infrastructure, but nothing is being metered. These are all guesstimations, but you know, so Highland Park is absolutely paying a water bill. It's paying.
But they're coming up with bills and tell you this is how much you owe, but actually that's not what you owe.
That's not what we owe. And like I said, you know, we could talk about how we came to this just real quick.
Right.
We're paying a metered water bill, and we're paying a fixed rate sewage bill according to a 96 contract. Nothing has been renegotiated. So we're paying according to our paperwork. So it's not like we're not paying anything. Residents, we're billing it over, we billing it over 90%. So the residents are paying, most of the businesses are paying. So we're paying our due, what we feel like we're supposed to be paying. The clean slate. Come on, let's take care of it. Let's sit down and let's have a do-over. Let's sit down, talk about what the rates need to be. Let's take some of this money, put it in the infrastructure so we can meter what's going in and out when it comes to sewage, so we can have something to say, okay, look, this is the number, this is what we need to pay. Because right now, they're just throwing the number out and saying we owe it, and Not only they're saying we owe it, they're saying we're not paying a water bill. And that's so far from the truth.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of misinformation, disinformation out there to make it look as if Highland Park is a city that is highly irresponsible.
And that's not the case at all, because this is the last, I'm telling you, Highland Park sits in a great position, right? So governor come in, take care of this, put in the money from the infrastructure bill and all of these funds from the ARPA. Let's take care of this. Let's get Highland Park on its feet, and we could take care of ourselves. Our finances are in order. This is it. We're ready to develop. We got lines around the block of our people.
So this is the stumbling block.
This is it.
Yeah.
And we would be all right. They take care of this. You know, it's not going to be overnight, but you know what? We're in a great position.
But you know, the other side, the governor says she's weighing her options. She hasn't said what those options are.
Right.
And I mean, what would you advise to the governor? Let's talk to the governor. Tell me what you would like to see, what needs to happen, because I feel like they can't keep kicking this down the can.
Correct. Right now,
kicking this can down the road. Yeah.
Right now, the resources are there. Take care of it, because no one's going to win. Like you talking about putting a whole community out, whatever that looks like. You know, what we gonna do? Now, we don't have residents that's able to move or able to withstand a $3,500 bill, period. So, do you care about people? You know, this is a whole community. Yeah, we're under 10,000, but we've been a community strong. And, you know, this is all set in from when Chrysler left in '96. So we never got back on our feet. And when Chrysler left, yeah, it was some payouts, but it wasn't any instruction or any professionals to say, hey, you know, let's take this money and make sure you sustain yourself. Through the 5 emergency managers, what was really fixed? We come out of the emergency management in a worse condition.
Well, that's
so,
right.
You know,
emergency managers were just putting a Band-Aid.
They're just putting back. So, you know, I'm hearing emergency manager. You know, that's not going to do anything.
What, the governor is going to put an emergency?
No, I'm just saying, you know, you know, like you say, a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah.
You know, what comes with the money, because the state just don't.
Well, and I think the other, to your point about the emergency management too, though, Highland Park was a test case of the failure of emergency management. When you look at the fact that, I mean, emergency managers came, I mean, it was like musical chair. They left, and the city is still, you know, dealing with this issue. The water issue remains to be a major problem.
Big time.
You know,
and it could have been fixed under emergency management, and we could have our own water if they wanted to. It could still be fixed. They gave Ann Arbor money.
So explain to me then why do they keep saying you owe this money when you look at the tentacles for calculating your bills and working the meter and all of that stuff that you talked about?
Propaganda. So we won, right? Remember, we won. Then they did the propaganda campaign. They slandered us, and then so the judgment was overturned. Now the Supreme Court don't even want to hear it. That's based off all this propaganda. Because what I hear in the media is Highland Park isn't paying their bill. But we are paying the bill. We're not paying what they want us to pay. So it makes it seem like we're not paying anything. That's not the case. We're paying our bill. And guess what we're doing? The water department is doing a great job fixing what they can, customer service. You know, we got the new water meters, and they're looking and pushing. They got all the information on what it needs and what it would take to meter our underground so we could solve this other problem. So we need a do-over. The governor, I mean, at this time, at this time, we're at a head. Step in, take care of it with the resources that we have through the federal government. And everything.
But even with the federal resources, I think state resources as well. I wrote a column in my Detroit News column on Thursday. I said that we get Democrats in control in Lansing, the legislature. You have a Democratic governor. What is the excuse not to take care of Highland Park?
I don't know the excuse.
I mean, you can't walk around here and say, well, you know, Carlton, you know, we would have hooked you, you know, we would have helped. I don't want to use the word hook, but we would have helped you. We would have intervened and do what we can for black folk in Highland Park. But, you know, Republicans got the power, so we got to play. Right. You can't say that anymore.
You can't say that. And it's a great opportunity. Listen, this is still a comeback city, you know, still a comeback story.
Right.
We take care of this. I just feel real confident with the development and the people that want to come and build.
Right.
We sit in a very good situation.
Because when you came on the program before, you told us that, you know, there are folk who are buying homes in Highland Park.
Yep.
you know, out of state. So, I mean, Highland Park is primed for development.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have, you know, a few years back we have our own brownfield authority where we can collect and negotiate the deals on our own. That's our water engineering department is stable. You know, we have a lot of good things in place, except this. You know, Catholic Square came in, did great on the finances, so we're good. All of our audits are good. We're clean. We're in a good space, minus this water issue. So you come in, you have the resources. There's no excuses. You have the resources. Take care of it. Take care of it. Let us get on our solid ground and let us be self-sufficient and thrive like other communities.
Yeah. I agree. But are you hearing anything about on the governor's side in terms of? I know she's sent folk to the city to do some research. I don't know what research they're doing. We know what the problem is.
Yeah. So I'm a resident.
But you had the phone.
You know, I hear things, but I'm not in the meeting, so I don't. You know.
That's a brother. That's a good way to put it. I hear you, brother.
But I'm speaking as
I invited
right.
you back because you're the former president of City Council. You said I'm a resident.
No, you wouldn't know. You asking city's plans.
Right.
I don't know.
But what do you think the plan should be now?
The plan should be for them to come take care of this, and let's continue to move in the direction that we've been moving in.
Right.
Because we have been moving in a positive direction.
Yeah.
We have attracted developers. There's development happening. So I feel like we are on the right path. This water situation is just, but like you say, it's out here it is. Rubber meets the road. It's come to a head.
Yeah.
It's been lingering for over 10 years.
Right.
The state has the ability to make this thing happen.
I think if they address the water issue, which corresponds with other quality of life issues in Highland Park, Democrats have an opportunity, and Whitmer and them have an opportunity to say, okay, we're going to ride the ship in Highland Park and use this as a model of how you bring back a city.
Correct.
You know, but if you run away from the issue,
you can't run.
I mean, yeah, but you run away when you're in power, though.
I mean,
it's almost as if you're apologizing for having power.
Yeah. And we don't really want to hear that. You know, we got a lot of seniors, and you know, we're worried because we don't know what the future holds. We don't know what it looks like. You know, I'm getting the calls, I'm seeing it, you feel it, because all this is happening. So we don't know.
Yeah.
But here it is. You have the ability to give us a new start.
Yeah. Remarkable. And water is an important quality of life. It's the first thing that you need. It is. I mean, you know, it's a life
can't
necessity.
Live without it.
You can't live without it.
A house is condemned if they can't have water.
That is true. No, that is
by
true.
ordinance.
That's true.
You can't live in a home without water.
Yeah. I mean, this should be a state of emergency for Governor Whitmer and Democrats.
Because it's a state of emergency for Highland Park.
Yeah. But I'm, I keep going back to the fact that, because many times in the past, when we mention black cities, when we mention Flint, we mention Benton Harbor, Highland Park, Detroit, the first thing that these Democrats tell black people, Republicans are in charge. If we're in charge, we're going to change it.
Right.
That's what you hear.
That's what, yeah.
We need to be in charge. Y'all need to put us in office. Then we'll change this. Okay, you're in office now. Then change Highland Park.
Yeah.
Change Benton Harbor.
Yeah.
Change the cities. Stop making excuses. You got the power.
Make sure you keep helping Flint, because Flint ain't out,
No, they're not out of the woods yet.
So
that's the issue here. And I think, I feel like if pressure doesn't, if we don't add pressure, the governor ain't going to do nothing, ain't going to do anything. Democrats will not do anything because these folk like to apologize for having power.
That would just make you really think, who, do you really care?
Yes.
Is it all, getting the vote? Is it all what? Here's your chance to do something right and good, where you can leave your mark. Hey, when I was there, when I was in office, I saved the city, or I helped get this city back on track. And that's what we need and want out of our elected officials.
Yeah.
When we support and we do our community service and do our due diligence, we expect for our leaders, which are elected officials, to make sure that our life and liberties are taken care of.
Right.
And right now, it doesn't feel like it is.
Right, yeah. Finally, though, you're talking to your folk in the city of Highland Park. How do they feel about this right now? This issue is percolating, and it's boiled up to the top now. It's like no retreat, no surrender. You
That's
can't,
right.
you know what I mean? I mean, that's what this is.
Yeah, and again, like I said, and they don't have any options.
Yeah.
They don't have any. They can't move. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't know in 2 months if they're going to open up their water bill and it's $3,500. You know, that's not cool.
No, it's not. It's not.
You know,
No.
you talking seniors that's on fixed incomes.
Yes, yes.
None of that is taken into account.
That is true.
You know, and then let's look at the public entities. Let's look at the state and the county who owns a lot of land in Highland Park. You know, when are you going to take care of your portion of this bill? Because with stormwater runoff, you know, you have a bill also.
Right.
Or are you going to say, hey, Gleewood, don't charge them for the properties that we
Right.
own?
Yeah.
But so while we have to pay, they talking about Highland Park ain't paying a bill.
Right.
So other people not paying bills.
Commercial buildings.
Commercial buildings, but state, county, they own a lot of property. A lot of property.
Right. We'll have you back.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Carlton Clyburn, former president of the Highland Park City Council, talking to us here about the water crisis in Highland Park. We are waiting to see what options Governor Whitmer will take. I indicated that options should include erasing the city's water debt. We'll be right back.